Good morning, everyone. This is Lee Einer, Sicko's Hitman, here to talk to you about Medicare for All and the public option. Now, what's been happening recently in the public debate and in mainstream media coverage, you might have noticed there's a shift in the conversation, and it's shifting from Medicare for All to the public option. And this is really a go-to technique for the manufacturing of consent and the control of public debate. Okay, what you notice happening as time goes on is a broad conversation about what needs to be fixed suddenly starts getting narrower, narrower, narrower in its scope. Okay, and what's happening is it's the cattle chute, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower, and the further we're pushed down the cattle chute, well, eventually there's a guy at the end of it with a bolt gun and we're hamburger. So we really need to be alert to that technique and that approach of controlling the debate and to push back against it. This is not all about the public option, and I'm going to explain to you in the next few minutes why the public option is really not an option if we want to save American lives. You may or may not know that, of course, the Affordable Care Act, remember, that was supposed to give us universal or virtually universal access to medical care, financial access to medical care. That's what this whole game is about. Okay, so today we have roughly 80 million people who are uninsured or underinsured. Underinsured typically meaning that they have a crap bronze policy under the ACA that the premiums are so high in conjunction with co-insurance, co-pays, deductibles out of pocket that is so high that while you have something that is called medical insurance, you actually can't afford to access it. You can't afford, if you're down on the bottom of the economic food chain, you can't afford to both pay your premiums and pay your doctor's co-insurance deductibles, yada, yada, blah, blah. Okay, so uninsured. 80 million of us, 80 million of us can't get health care under the system that was supposed to save this capitalist medical reimbursement system that we have in the United States. We've lost, something like 400,000, 500,000 Americans thus far due to COVID, and a study that recently came out revealed that about a third of those people who died, we could frame it as they died from COVID, but it would be more precise to say that they died at the intersection of COVID and no fucking insurance because of this dysfunctional medical reimbursement system that we have. So that's the kind of stakes we're up against. And I should add, those people, those uninsured people, do they all look like us? No, the demographics are a little bit different, which is to say disproportionately black and brown. So the public option as the savior of this situation, those 80 million people are largely uninsured because they can't afford the fucking insurance, okay? They can't afford it. It's all a financial issue. And so we say, well, we'll have a public option. Oh, by the way, it's a buy-in. Oh, what's that? You can't afford it, can you? So it's not a solution. It masquerades as a solution, right? This is the same game that FDR successfully played of using socialism to rescue capitalism, but the public option is just a pissant attempt. It's not even going to rescue the current system. The insurance companies will continue to get richer. They'll be subsidized somewhat more by our tax dollars, I'm sure. And 70,000 of us estimated per year will continue to die, not because medical science couldn't help us, but because we lacked the financial access to the medical care that would save our lives. That's what we're up against. And we have to be really clear that Medicare for all, public option, these are two almost diametrically opposed concepts being served up to us on the same kind of cognitive plate. Well, they're both socialism. They're both socialized medicine. They're both governmentally regulated. And those things are true. But here's why they're diametrically opposed. Okay? Medicare for all is aimed at the complete and total replacement of this dysfunctional medical system. And make no mistake about it, the U.S. medical reimbursement system is the worst in the developed world. Medicare for all is aimed at replacing that system from the ground up with one that is based on human need, one that is not only far less expensive, but universal in terms of our access to appropriate medical care without coinsurance, without copayment, without deductible. The public option is a Band-Aid on the ACA. The ACA, in turn, is a Band-Aid on the employer-based, for-profit, dysfunctional medical reimbursement system that is the problem. Okay? The solution is not to preserve the problem. Say it over and over again until it sinks in. The public option preserves the problem, and the solution is not to preserve the problem. Okay? And I want you to just be really aware of these things when you hear the debate, and don't buy it. Shut it down. Say that's bullshit. We need Medicare for all. We don't need to be kept trapped in this dysfunctional system. We need a human-based replacement for it, and that is Medicare for all. And thank you. That is my morning's rant. Have a wonderful day.